Was it gonna be? I was nervous, okay guys, I was nervous. All right. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is gonna be very juicy. I'm gonna give y'all a bunch of tips on what I've learned getting married at 18.
Boy,
when you think about it, when I say it out loud, now that we are almost 21, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, especially because we have a daughter, and I couldn't imagine her coming to me at 18 talking about she's getting married. But let's go ahead and get into the tea so that you guys can kind of understand why we decided to get married at the time that we decided to get married in. So yes, let's go ahead and get into the business. So first, I'm gonna just tell you guys the story on like how we got married and all of that stuff. Okay, so we had already graduated, I think. I know our wedding anniversary, I just don't remember the date that we graduated high school. Anyways, we graduated high school. We were both leaving to ship for the army. He was leaving June something, I think. Yeah. No, it was early July that he was leaving. So he was leaving July 3rd and I was leaving the 10th. He had been living with me 4 months prior. I think it was 4 months because of something that had happened with his family and like, yeah, but we're not getting into any of that right now. But we kind of just decided, okay. Yeah, so we kind of just decided that we were gonna get married. One, because we knew that we wanted to in the future, but being dual military, we were gonna end up being split up and we didn't want that. I know it sounds crazy, now that I'm saying it out loud. But anyways, yeah, so he'd been living in my house. And so of course we're getting more serious. I mean, as serious as you can get in high school. But anyways, yeah, I'm making all of this a light and a joke because it worked out for us and it was just meant to be for us. But I know a lot of people that do this and it doesn't end well. So yeah, don't take any of me being like funny and snarky and all this stuff as something bad. But yeah, so we were already talking about getting married. We had already started the conversation or whatever because we had been dating at that point for, I want to say, a year. Yeah, we had been dating for a year because we started dating our junior year. Yeah, we had been dating a year and we knew that we were both about to ship. He was going to go to Fort Benning and I went to Fort Jackson for Army basic training. But anyways, so basically he had been living with me for about the last 4 months of our high school, and then one day me and my mom and him were sitting downstairs in our living room and she was just like joking like, yeah, y'all should just go get married. But she was joking, guys, she was joking, but she didn't know that we had already been talking about getting married anyways. So when we actually just went out and did it, we was like, okay, so how do you do it, blah blah blah. Mind you, none of his family knew. Let me say that again. None of his family knew. Okay? None. My mom was basically the only one that knew when we went and did it. And I think about that now, and if Myla does that, it's a problem. It's gonna be a problem, okay? So anyways, but like I said, everything worked out. I'm gonna put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video. None of his family knew that we were going to get married. And I wanna say we got married before we graduated. I have to look back in the dates, and if we did, then I will definitely put a little card here that says that we did. But yeah, nobody knew. My friends didn't know, his parents, his side of the family didn't know. My mom was the only one that knew. No one else in my family knew. So we decided just to go and do it. So we did it. We went to the courthouse. It was just me and him. My mom was like, can I go with you, blah blah blah, and we were like, no. So we literally went down that next day. You have to go down to the courthouse and you have to get a marriage certificate before you actually do like the whole I do thing. So basically we went down to the courthouse, we got all the paperwork, and I think he told his parents through text. It's really bad when I'm saying it now that I'm a mom to a little girl. I would lose my cheese, okay? It would be a problem. So he told his mom through text, and I'm pretty sure, and I think he told, I want to say he told his dad before his mom. I want to say, I'm not too sure on the specifics because it's been 2 years now. But so we went down to the courthouse. We did the paperwork where you have to get like your marriage license. That's what it is. We got our marriage license, and then the next day, the next available date that they had, which was June 8th of 2018. So we're coming up on 2 years now, so dang. Anyways, so we just went down to the courthouse. We signed all the paperwork and we just did it. And I have pictures of while we were in the car, I'm pretty sure. We look so different now. It's so crazy to me looking at these pictures, and I'm kind of cringing, so I can't believe that I'm actually going to be putting this on the internet, but it's all right. I'll put the pictures up right here. So yeah, that's how we got married. Then we both left for Army basic training, and then we started our whole Army careers. Obviously now I'm out and I'm happy to be out, but yeah, it just worked out for the best. Like, it just worked out for us, which I'm very blessed about. And both of our families are completely fine. There was never any problems between either of our families specifically. It was just, you know, just him, and like his relationship with his family was a little rocky. All of that is good now. Everyone's good. We're all good. All one big happy family over here. So that's what I mean when I say I'm so blessed, because everything just worked out in the way that it was supposed to work out. Even though back then we didn't know what was gonna work, what was it gonna be. I was nervous, okay guys? I was nervous. All right, just the fact of telling his family and all of that stuff. And now I look back and I'm like, I would be very upset, okay? Very. But anyways, we're just gonna go ahead. So now I'm just gonna tell you guys all of the tips and what I found that is pretty, just some tips on like how being married at 18 is and all of that stuff. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna say is you are forced to learn a lot of stuff. I don't want to say on your own, because it's not on your own, but when you think about it, people 18 your age are not married, okay? They don't even like, they don't really have careers or going to college, just figuring out, making all the mistakes you make growing up, okay? But when you're married, one of the good things is one, you get to grow together. And I will say over the years, we obviously have grown together and we've been through a lot. So that's like really cool, that when I look back at like when we're 22 and like where we're gonna be at the age of 22 and all the things that we learned and stuff like that. So that's super cool, but you're kind of forced to grow up quickly. If you got married and you were still around both of your families, it would be a little bit easier on learning, you know, car stuff and finances and bills and the whole nine, okay? We just got thrown into all of that. Finances, cars, bills, the whole nine. And I think that's why most of the people in our families were hesitant about it, because they knew the type of stuff that we would have to learn, and we're still only 21, you know. We still have I'm sure we'll have plenty of more lessons going on up in here. But yeah, you were really forced to grow up and learn a lot of things very quickly, and not at the rate as someone that's 18, that's your age, and just getting out of high school. They're either ready to go to college, working in your hometown, or military, so like it's so crazy, like the dynamics. And when I think about it, I'm like, I would never regret it, and I would do it all over again just because of our story and how our story happened to work out. But I've heard so many horror stories on people that have gotten married so young and what it has done to their relationship, and you don't really know that person. And I think the main reason that I was more comfortable about it is because leading up to our whole senior year, we'd already been having conversations about tough things, like I'm black and he's obviously white. We talked about racial things that our children, Myla, well, we hope that she never has to experience, but we had to have those hard type of conversations. We did talk about, you know, divorce, like before we got married, just talking about it, you know, not planning it in each other's head, but we had a lot of tough conversations that I knew that we needed to have, and we needed to have it before we got married and not after, you know. So, and we both we had a lot of tough conversations, and it took a lot of communicating and just being clear on like our stance on certain things, and yeah, it just worked out. Communication is key, I will say that, and that is in any marriage at any age. Okay, so another tip that I will say is, if you are comfortable with the people around you that may have parts of a marriage that you want to implement into your own marriage, sit down and have a conversation with them and pick their brain and allow them to give you advice. You can take their advice with a grain of salt. You don't have to follow their advice for the T, because every relationship and every person is totally different, and I don't think that you should walk into it like that in the first place. You know, that's not good. Don't do that. But just having older people around you that have been married for a really long time, they can teach you a lot. And for us, I talked to my grandparents a lot. They'd been married for like 40 something years, for my whole life, I know that, plus some. So they had been married for a really long time, and I talked to them about it. And of course, we started implementing God like into our relationship from the beginning anyways, but especially when it came to us talking about marriage and stuff. So yeah, and also if you have time, I would really recommend, if you're a Christian, I would really recommend you going to Christian counseling, because it helped us a lot. It would have helped us a lot. It would have cut down on a lot of stuff in our marriage, basically. Not that anything's bad, but like as it pertains to the Bible and like what a wife's supposed to do, and like, you know, that type of thing. Okay, I will say this. Most people around you that you grew up with, that you graduated high school with, are not on the same level, in the sense that they're not doing the same things that you're doing as it pertains to getting married and me having a family. So most of my friends are still young. They're going to college, doing all the college-y things, and I have real responsibilities. I have a real family, so it's hard because they don't understand half the stuff that I go through when it comes to just certain things. So you just have to be very mindful on that a lot of people your age aren't doing what you're doing. And I had to obviously get friends that are married and do have a family so that they can understand. And most of them are older, obviously, but it's really good to have friends that are married and on the same level with that part of your life. I do still have friends that aren't married or anything like that. Like they're still my friends. It's just that I don't talk to them about marriage things because they're not married, you know. And I don't talk to them about babies because they don't have babies, you know. It's just that type of thing. But they're still my friends. Don't cut your friends off. Just don't do it. Another thing that I will say is, before you guys decide to get married, if you're in no rush, I would start to do budgeting with your partner early on, because in our case, like my husband, he went from not working like his whole life basically to going in the military and having a decent check plus of all the benefits that the military gives you. So we had to work on budgeting a lot, and yeah, so and that's another thing that I would ask somebody else's advice on for budgeting tips, because you're trying to figure it out, and if you haven't really worked and had real bills with your spouse, and if you're young as me and you just get thrown into all of your bills and most of your bills are together, so your finances are together and things like that, I would definitely reach out to somebody that's older. You can reach out to me and I can tell you guys all of the stuff that I've learned so far in our marriage and as it pertains to finances and stuff like that. Another pro that I will say, it has literally been amazing. Like when I look at pictures of like when we both first joined, like when we were 18 and we're about to be 21 coming up in like almost 6 months from now for me. But when I look at pictures and stuff like that, when I look back on pictures, I'm like, oh my goodness, we were such babies. Like, what the heck, you know? Excuse me. I'm like, oh my goodness, we were such babies. Like, and now we have a baby. So I'm like, it's so crazy. And I just think about like where we're going to be in the future and all of that stuff. And I pray that I know all of the things that we are working on, we are going to achieve. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard, but it is really rewarding because for me, I found my soulmate really young. I found my soulmate really young, so it's fun, you know? We're growing together, we're changing, but we're not changing to the point like apart. We're changing and still complimenting each other, which is great. There's a lot of perks to it, but there's also a lot of hard times just because you're so young and you're just trying to figure it out. But it's so much fun. I love it. I love him to death, even though he gets on my last nerve. I love him. And yeah, so that's really, oh, people are probably gonna look at you like you're crazy. Like people that aren't in the military lifestyle don't have people that are in the military, and even people in the military, because we've had so many people say, oh, like when we first got to the base that we're on, they were like, oh, you guys are just gonna get a divorce. Who? You can go away from me with that, devil. Bye. I don't want none of those. And people, I will never understand why people feel the need to say such nasty things. Like, why? You're 30 whatever, and what if I walked up to you and it was like, you and your wife's gonna get divorced? Like, how would that feel? Why do people feel so entitled and feel so comfortable with just saying stuff like that? Like I will never understand. That's crazy. That is insane. If somebody is telling you that, tell them to mind their business. Let you mind yours and let them mind theirs, okay? And keep it pushing, because they don't know. That's gonna be the end of this video, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed it and that you got something out of it, and that the first part of the story time made you laugh a little bit, because that was the whole point of this video. It wasn't funny in the time, and I'm pretty sure, you know, for his mom, because I think me thinking about my daughter coming to me telling me that she's gonna get married at 18, even though we got married at 18, and it sounds hypocritical, but like because of everything that we have been through, because it's not easy, okay? It's not sunshines and rainbows, none of that. I just wouldn't want her to go through that type of stress. But anyways, yeah, if any of his family is watching this, I love you guys so much, okay? And I'm so happy and blessed that we are past that. It is way behind us, and now we can all hopefully laugh about it. And yes, in the future we really do want to have a big wedding where both of our families are there and are included, and you know, all that cool stuff. So look for that in the future. But yeah, that was really the end of the video, guys. I hope that you really enjoyed it, that you learned something out of it. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification bell. Comment down below what you have to say about it. And thank you guys so much for watching.
She likes chocolate covered strawberries and wine.